Every other time with Eric, and we're back with Apostle by popular demand. Last time we didn't get to cover everything we wanted to cover, so Apostle so kindly agreed to come back. Pleasure to have you back in studio, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
You're looking very nice.
Sometimes I tell people, I jokingly tell people that that's my weakness.
Yes. Style is your weakness. How have you been?
I've been somehow good, somehow not good, but I thank God for everything. Since I was with you, it's about a month ago.
Yes, about a month.
Yeah, I traveled to the UK. I had a very special mission in the UK, and after that I came back after Pasaka, only to find my mother had passed on. And there was a burial a week ago. I am back.
My sincerest condolences.
Yes, yes.
I know losing a mother cannot be easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
At all, it's not easy.
Pole sana.
Let me switch off this phone.
Okay.
So isitusumbue sana. Tuendelee tu.
Yeah, pole about that. I know that cannot be easy.
Yes.
I'm assuming at this point in time you're probably the head of your wider family.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have to mourn while leading the charge.
And also having so many things around that and that are a bit ngoja kidogo tu.
It's okay.
I have a new phone which I'm not able to use. I lost my phone in the UK.
Pole.
Okay, here it is.
You sure it's not Scotland Yard who pickpocketed you?
I think so. For sure, I think so. Because how it was taken away from me, I don't know. Because I was in a stagecoach bus.
Yes.
And I seated somewhere. Just be with it. I was seated somewhere in one of the seats. I was holding it, but how it got out of my hand, I don't know.
Do you travel with a delegation or do you travel with a team? Or
This time round, I was alone.
Okay.
And when I lost the phone, I was alone.
Yes.
Because I was on a private mission. I didn't go with a delegation. Delegation, I had left it somewhere called Northampton.
Yes.
And I was in, Central London? That is where I had gone. So as I alighted from the bus from Oxford at a place called Victoria,
Yes.
that is where I lost my phone.
And some of these the missions you go on, are they something you can share or are they?
Yes. I've shared with in my YouTube pages. I have photos. I'm going to leave them with you. What I was doing. I visited the Freemasonry hall at Reading, a place called Reading.
Yeah.
That the original, the very first Freemasonry hall in the UK, that was brought about there by the Scandinavian people, and Freemasonry did not start with the Britons. It started from the Scandinavian people who came and brought the doctrine to the Briton people. Then it spread from Britain to America, to Canada, to Australia, to Africa. So that is the beginning. That church, that place I had gone, it was the beginning, where the foundation of the Freemasonry. So I was still doing my research on who are these Freemasonries and what kind of religion are they. So I was trying to dig out to see what impact do they have to our society and to the global, and what impact does it have on whatever that is happening to us now, the global warming, the killings, the violence in the Middle East, the economical crunch, and many other things that are happening. Why are they part of the gay, part of the lesbianism, part of many things that are evil in the society? And what could be the foundation and the spiritual background about it?
So if you're tuning in today, we're going to be exploring a spiritual matters. We're going to be going very deep. So if you're scared of these things, it's not the episode for you. If you're curious about things, this is certainly the episode for you.
Yes.
So Freemasonry, I mean, as recently as I think a week and a half ago, the local Freemason lodge was being accused of not paying land rates.
Yeah.
And now they are suing. because they're like, unachoma, how can you say we don't pay? And I think they paid the next morning, whatever they were being told to.
Whatever they did, I don't think these people is the government. The people who attend there, they are people in the government. So who is who in the government? And they are people. No, Freemasonry is not for ordinary people. It's not for ordinary folks. It's for people who are maybe the lawyers, doctors, top business people, politicians, top people in the society.
Yes.
It's not for just ordinary folks.
So I cannot just join.
You cannot just join. You have to be vetted for about 5 years for you to be known whether you can belong there, because it is from the beginning. As you join it, it looks like it's just a good organization whereby we have socio-economical empowerment kind of a charity, those kind of things. But as you grow inside, that is when you are introduced into some more cultic kind of life. And that's when now we start giving sacrifices and many other things that are now critical to the society. That is why they are trained more of spiritualism and the concept behind the Freemason. How did it start? Who started it? Why? And what's the reason of it being in existence? The spiritual angle of the Freemasonry. First of all, they were Masons, they were builders. Then they converted themselves into a cult. And this cult is a very top-notch secret, and it rules the world. 90% of the presidents we have in the world are Freemasons. Top magicians, top politicians, top lawyers, top business people in the world, like Rockefeller families, Rothschild families, all those top-notch families, presidents in the world, they are all Freemasons.
Do they have secret knowledge, or what is it that what's the secrecy about? What was the origin of them coming together?
You know, last time I touched on something about coding, the coding of the world. And the coding is the most important thing that people don't understand, because world is coded. And the coding is coded through, like now I visited in the place in the UK, they call Stonehenge. Stonehenge is there we have top-notch witches.
Put Stonehenge on the screen for people to see.
Stonehenge is where we have top-notch witches.
Is that the statues, the stone statues of faces that no one can explain where they came from?
Yes. That's where we have the tribe. It's like, let's call it, it's a society who are in control of the economy of Britain in the whole world. They're the one who controls. They use 4 elements. They use water element, sun element, moon element, and the star element. That's what they use. And now they manipulate and they control the world through witchcraft. That's part of the Freemasons. I would just want to explain to you what is the Freemason.
Please do.
Look at it now. Let's use the Pope. Though I don't want to depict like he's a Freemason, but his name, Leo. Leo, for you, it's Leo. In Kenya, Leo is today.
Yes.
But Leo, in Latin, it's lion. So it's a coded name that it is the Lion of Judah. Then the 14th, is it? 14 is IV or VI? IV. Yeah. XIV.
Yes.
Leo XIV, meaning Leo
the 14th.
The 14th. Leo means lion, the 14th. What is 14th? 14th is 1. If you add 1 plus 1, it becomes 5. Now, 5 is the number of grace. So it's Leo operating in the number of grace. That is how they code the world. That's how they code information. Spiritualism, anything that you see spiritualistic, it is a coded message. It's about coding messages, coding powers, coding systems. And all of us, we operate in coded systems. And this coded system, they rule. That's what they rule. They used to rule the whole world. Like now we have only 11 families that rule the world. That's like Rockefeller family, Rothschild family, the Kennedy family. There are 11 families that they were able, and they are all in the Freemason. So the formation of the Freemason was out of a code that Solomon used. For Solomon to become rich, he understood the systems of the world, the system, the spiritual realms. and each realm has a control. Like now we have the seven what? The seven planets. And each planet has a power, has an authority, has an energy. And through this energy, that is what they rule the world using. Like now you see these people who are flying to the space. They are going to the space, but they are not telling us what is in the space. There's a place they are flying to, and they have made another kind of a continent that they are existing from and operating from. They go and come, they go and come, they go and
What's
come.
the purpose there? What are they?
The purpose is about coding. The world is ruled by codes. And the world is governed, systems of the world are governed by the coding system. And that is why a person like Constantina, a person like Nero, King James, Shakespeare, the ones who were involved in writing the Bible and interpreting the Bible, there are systems they use to make sure that the Bible fits them and works for them. Like now, if you look at the before the Pope died, he opened 5 doors.
Yes, they even said he opened a portal or something.
Those are the portals. The 5 doors were portals. One door was a Lucifer door. Another one was for progress. Another one for economy. Another one. These doors are coded. They are 5.
And is there any good or it's all negative?
They are good according to them. Any code mission is coded because you have it's a hidden information to keep a secret for your benefit, not for others. That's why you're coding it. For others, it's negative, but for you, it's positive. And you still look at it now. When Pope opened the 5 doors, who came in? It's Leo. After the 5 doors, Leo came, the 14. You add 1 plus 5 plus 4 is 5. The 5 doors.
Yes.
So it was in preparation to who will become the Pope. And this one now, he will rule the Catholic using the 5 doors that are connected to a spiritual realm, a spiritual control, a spiritual power, a spiritual manipulation. As you look at now you look at the Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon was coded. And they say that it's not Solomon that had the wisdom, but he was able to select people. And that's what he asked God. Give me wisdom to be able to lead your people. You can only have a leadership of the people when you have leaders. You cannot be a good leader if you don't have leaders.
Yes.
So literally what Solomon was asking for, it is leaders to help him lead.
And he used it for good?
For good. He used it for good. Because what he did, he was able to identify people who are specialized in minerals, specialized in timber, specialized in iron, specialized in all fields. Then he gave them mandate to do it. Then after they do the job, after they do everything, what happens to him? All the credit goes to one person because they will come gather together and they give him the presentation. Now it is Solomon who will be seen like he has done it.
Yes.
That is what we call the coding of a message, that you use others to transmit an information that you want, but to your benefit. So it only becomes positive if it is benefiting you, but it will be negative to others if it does not agree with you. Like now we have in the Pope, we have Vicarius Filii. Vicarius Filii is 666. If you write it now from Latin to the normal language, Vicarius Filii, it is 666, meaning it's a allopheric number, as they say, an antichrist and whatever, that kind of a thing. So every information we have on earth is coded, and that's where you have the barcode.
Oh, yes.
If you look at every barcode, it has 666.
Whenever I've actually investigated that, and you'll see a 6 at the beginning, somewhere in the middle, somewhere at the end.
Yeah.
If you can put that on the screen for people to see.
Yes. So this is the system they use to code, and you can only code these messages from the moon, from the sun, from the star, and from water, because these are the 3 things that God started with.
But Apostle, when you say coding, I hear also like there's some, like a computer kind of element just on a scale that is unimaginable. Because they say they even find computer code in nature.
Yes. Everything that it is in nature, it is tapped from the nature. And this is what I'm saying. They get it from the sun, the moon, the star, and the water. Look at it now. What are the first things that God found? The first day, you find the world was formless. The spirit was hovering over there.
Yes.
Over something that was formless. Then the second day he separated
the one above
and the one down. And then he created the sun and he created the moon. Therefore, meaning he created the day and the night. Meaning, in a nutshell, he means he created a season, because a season is known by the day and the night. Now, the season ends and another one comes. What differentiates it? The day and the night. So it is the sun that differentiates or creates what we call the season. And the time is from the sun. And also season and the times are from the sun. And God rules the world using seasons and times. The blessings will come during your season and during your time. Anything will happen within the season of God and the time of God. Anything will be, for you to prosper, to grow, there is time. For you to know your years, it is the sun. For you to know your age, is the sun. For you to know where you are today or whatever, what is the time, is the sun. Everything revolves around the element called the sun. Then the moon is a king that rules during the night. And the small star is also the small king that rules during the night, but the day is given to the sun. So this is what forms the calendar. The sun is the creation. That's what forms the calendar. As we have the Julian calendar and the other calendar?
Gregorian.
And we have another calendar? The Ethiopian calendar.
Yes.
These are 3 calendars, but all of them, they are ruled by the sun, because that is what creates now January, February, March, all this. We know the number of weeks because of the sun. We know the number of days because of the sun. We know the number of minutes, the number of seconds because of the sun. Because by the tick of the sun, we have a number of something, a second, a minute, a day, a week,
year, a month.
a year, a month. So 360 days are ruled by the sun. So much of the secrets of the world are hidden in the sun. The control of the world is hidden in the sun.
So what do these secret societies know about this coding and this sun and how it affects us, that they are using themselves to perhaps enrich themselves?
Yeah. What happens is that Christianity is about foolish. Christianity is one organization that we were taught about Christianity, but we were not taught what is Christianity. We were told just this is a glass, but we were never told what is in the glass, what forms this glass. Because if you look at the people who are failures in the world are Christians, not any other. All these other religions like Buddhism, in Hinduism, like what we call the Islam, and many other religions, the Freemasons, are more successful in the world of resources. They become rich. They own the world. But if you look at the Christians, most of us, the Pentecostals, we are more spiritual, going to heaven, and forgetting that this world was given to us. Because
so are we misled?
We were misled by these people. Because Freemason, when it came, it didn't send Christian, Dr. Lugard, Dr. Watt, those that came to bring missionary in Africa, they were not Christians, they were Freemasons.
So the missionaries, you're talking about Frederick Lugard.
They were Freemasons.
Alamano.
And they had a mission to Africa. And they knew Africa is the cradle of mankind. Freemasonry is an agenda of Lucifer. That's a Luciferic agenda. So what they literally did, they created organizations in the name of the church. That's the Church of God in England, the Presbyterian, the Catholic. All these are a formation of Freemasons.
So there's no church, conventional church like the Catholic Church, the Orthodox, Pentecost, all of these are Luciferian.
Apart from Orthodox, these others all are Luciferian. more especially the Church of God, that's Anglican. The Presbyterian are from Scottish, and Scottish is one of the most powerful countries where we have the Freemasons. And even the Presbytery of Kenya is, let me give you a very good example. When I raided the Freemason Hall, I know you know the story.
Yes, yes.
When I raided it, we went inside and we found there's a tunnel. One tunnel goes to St. Andrews, one tunnel goes to All Saints Cathedral, one tunnel goes to State House, another tunnel goes to Serena Hotel. What could be the talent from the Freemasonry Hall be interested in the Presbyterian?
It's very peculiar.
It's very peculiar.
But how did they allow? It was very strange. I found that 2 weeks ago when I saw county government there. What was that? What was the real thing happening? Because it was, they sent normal county agents. They didn't send high-ranking people. They sent some very low-level, the ones who enforce.
Listen now, as we are talking about the coding, we'll explain to you what is happening now. Kenya is a portal, and the portal is the Mount Kenya. It is the portal. And this portal, it is where spiritual authorities are transacted, where power is exchanged, and where authority are highlighted. Therefore, Kenya being a portal, it is a portal that is being used to rule the world. Kenya rules the world. And you find so many powerful people in the world, they emanated from Kenya, either by being visitors in Kenya and they go back to their country and they become some people, or either they were born in Kenya. Let me give you an example. In America, Obama ruled out of Kenya, he's a Kenyan. In UK, we have Sunak, who became the prime minister, was a Kenyan. And if you go to Kagame,
Elizabeth got her, she was here.
Elizabeth became a queen while she was in Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Kagame became a president from Kenya. Museveni became the president while in Kenya. All these leaders converged from Kenya to become leaders. Look at the current Pope. He visited Mount Kenya. And he went to Lodwar, he was here in Nairobi, he went to Central Provinces. That is where he operated from before, because he knew he's going to become the next Pope. He was very sure. And that's where Americans, the Deputy President of America, visited the Pope before he died. It was all known and all prepared. That was not that there's a smoke or whatever happened, that they prayed. No, it was premeditated. It was well organized and well calculated, because that is a prophetic thing that had to happen.
Is it hidden knowledge? Because I even have cousins and my wife's friends, they love to hike. They've done Mount Kenya. My brother has actually climbed, my younger brother. Is it that you have to know where you're going to seek this power, or what?
No, not where you're going to seek this power, the purpose. You have to purpose. You have to purpose to when you're going to the mountain. If you go deeper, you find all the pharaohs of Egypt. You know, Egypt is not the current Egypt of the Asian. The Egypt was the Sudanese, the Juba, the black Sudanese.
Yes.
All the pharaohs visited Mount Kenya before they became pharaohs. All of them. And that's why I find that from Turkana they came down. And if you go to Kakuma, you go to a place like Lokchogio, you find those mountains, they are like pyramids. And this is what formed. The pyramid emanated from Mount Kenya. If you look at Mount Kenya, the peaks are the pyramids. And all the pyramids are made in mind of Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya is the mount that described in the Bible as the Mount Zion. And this mountain is where now the power of God is hidden. When you hear the box of the Ark of the Covenant,
yeah.
It was moved from Ethiopia downwards to the mountain beyond the Ethiopia.
Is it there now?
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant is Mount Kenya. That's why you see the entire world is so much interested in Kenya. And you find the Johnese, the British Army are in Nanyuki. Nanyuki doing what?
And who takes care of, is that their role? Who takes care of it? Because if the Ark of the Covenant is said to be the source of worldly power or power of God,
yes,
wouldn't the world be scrambling to take it?
They have trying, but nobody knows where it is exactly. And so many people have died in Mount Kenya trying to go to look for it. And sometimes now they are trying to divert the idea that it is in Ethiopia. It is not in Ethiopia, it's in Kenya. When it was carried away from Ethiopia, when this child of Solomon, of this woman, Bathsheba, the son took it away. And when he took it away, it was given to 3 people who came with it. And these people are the people in Mount Kenya that came with it and stored it in a place in Mount Kenya. Therefore, if you look at the synagogues of the Israeli synagogues, go and check on them. They all face Mount Kenya. They all face Mount Kenya. If you look at Mount Kenya, land has become so valuable to the Wazungus.
Yeah,
Those are not
yes.
ordinary Wazungus.
Yes.
They are people keeping guard of the Ark of the Covenant. They are positioned there. You see, the Kenya, the Israel agreed to train Kenyan soldiers, the GSUs. Common purpose was just because to guard. The GSUs are not supposed to be on the street beating us. GSUs are supposed to be like the Swiss guards, to monitor and guard the Ark of the Covenant. That is why Israel volunteered to train Kenyan soldiers, special elite squad.
Are they aware themselves that is their role?
The original people who got the information, 100% they were aware. The founders of GSU, they know what they were doing. But now the concurrent, as they turned GSU to become a political outfit to guard and also a security guard for installations, it was not meant for installations. It was meant to guard any threat that can come and steal the ark. That's why you see when there is a bomb in Kenya, the first people to arrive at the bomb site are GSUs. They are trained for that because they know this is a terrorist, and a terrorist could be sent to come to divert their attention as they take it. But now the most unfortunate thing is that nobody knows where the Ark of the Covenant is.
Even our highest ranking officials, president.
Nobody knows. I can assure you that nobody knows. But I know a few, or 2 or 3 people who knows, who has seen it, who has been there. I know 2 or 3 people. And therefore, it is a hidden secret of God. And that's why every person in the world will come. If you read the Bible in the book of Isaiah 18, it talks of Mount Kenya. That can you open it for me? You can read it so that...
that is
Isaiah chapter number 18. It talks about country Kenya. And this country Kenya, it talks about what transpired and what is about to transpire, what's about to happen in this country. And you look at again backward, you find that Kenya is a country described in the Bible just from the perspective from being a Kenya in Africa. Africa being called Alekablam. Alekablam means the cradle of man, the Garden of Eden.
So Isaiah 18 chapter?
From 1. Can you read from verse 1?
Okay. Isaiah 18. Oh, this is giving me the overview. Do you have a Bible up?
Go to Google. It will open for you from the Google.
Isaiah 18. Woe unto the land of shadowing the wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia.
Yes, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia.
That sendeth ambassadors by sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters.
That one was described by the sea and from the coast and also the Nile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saying, go ye swift messengers to the nations scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from beginning to here too.
Yes.
A nation meted out and trodden down, whose land and the rivers have spoiled.
Yes.
All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains.
Listen now, what's an ensign? It's the flag. If you read the simpler text there.
And when he
when
bloweth
they
a trump,
lift a banner on the mountain, see. A banner is the flag. Which other mountain in the world a flag was lifted?
is that now during independence?
Yes. Go ahead.
Wow. And ensign on the mountains. And when he bloweth a trumpet.
When they blow a trumpet, that's Monyao who blew the trumpet from the mountain.
Yes.
And he lifted the flag from the mountain.
Hear ye. For so the Lord said unto me, I will take my rest, and I will consider in my dwelling place like a clear heat.
I will consider that place my dwelling place.
Yes.
Yeah, that one, leave the other one for the people to read for themselves. So it is only in Mount Kenya
And
where a flag was lifted.
And they mention Ethiopia. That
And
is
beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, a land that is divided by water, by rivers. It is only in Kenya we have so many rivers dividing the country, Kenya. People who are strong, troublesome people. Do you know Kenya is the most troublesome in the world? That
I know.
If they descend on you, they will fight you until you surrender.
What a very unique.
Very unique. You see what is happening right now with the Gen Zs and everything. It's like now Kenya has become the capital city of Africa. Everybody, Samia tried it, and they are now
Yes.
now going down. So Kenya is a unique country. It's a country that nobody can fight it to defeat it. You have either to align yourself with Kenya. Kenya is the only first country that started armed struggle with the British government. And the second country that fought the Mzungu from their land is Haiti. That's why you have a common history between Kenya and Haiti. And I see God is sending Kenyans to go and help their brothers to solve their problems. Because it's only Africa, it's only Kenya and Haiti where people lifted guns and went to fight.
So there's a historical background that it was not random that we went to Haiti.
It was not random that we went to Haiti. It was godly. Something godly. Not that people do not interpret it and don't look at it from the spiritual angle. It was godly. And Haiti will become a good nation, will come down at some point. But now look here. So Kenya, being the portal, everyone in the world, when Charles became the king, he came to Kenya to pick that authority from Kenya. Anybody.
And even before the mother died, there's a time he had also come. Had that ceremony at State House, which had some very weird Masonic that put the flags in a triangle.
Yes. And they did those Masonic things because for them, Masonic, it's part of them. You see, like now when William was being inaugurated, they had to wear those Masonic things. He became the Grand Master. He was lifted to the level of a Grand Master. And the king is in the head of the Church of God. Church of God is Anglican. Are you getting me?
Yes.
And the head of Masonic is the king. And the king is the head of Church of God. Are you looking at it?
Yes.
So the king, being the head of Church of God, he's also the head of the Masonic temple. Did you catch anything there?
I see the connection.
Yes.
But Apostle, about, I'll call it 2 months ago, there feels like there's been this is something I've experienced. I've asked people about, my friends, my colleagues, a shift of energy for not good. It feels like something happened in the world or in the country that just shifted things negatively.
Yes.
What is that about?
Yes, the same thing I'm talking about, the coding of the world. What is happening? There is a shift that is being fought. Kenya, like now, Kenya, the shift is between two nations, the Vatican and Kenya. The portal, that Mount Kenya portal, and the Vatican portal. The Vatican portal is trying to steal the portal of Kenya and take and transfer it to Vatican and control it from there. That is the same thing Biden and Obama were trying to do by disinheriting Mount Kenya from leadership so that they can be able to install a portal. Remember also the people from the gay community, they had claimed Mount Kenya to go and plant their flag at the top because it is all about defiling the portal so that the other portal can rise up. Remember there were these things that were brought from America, the Istuswara. What were they calling them? The Iswara. The Swara, the normal Swara. You know Swara? Antelopes. A clan of the antelope that were dropped in Mount Kenya from US, the 7 of them.
Yeah.
Those were not ordinary things. Those were the things that were created and brought up in America, just be sent to Mount Kenya to go and defile it because all what they want to win this battle of changing the portal because destinies are stolen. I can steal your destiny. By coding my information and stealing it from you and destroying you, then that destiny, I will not throw the destiny. It's you who will be thrown out.
Yes.
Your destiny, I will take it and use it. There are people who uses people's destinies. You are a pilot. You are supposed to be a pilot, but now you're not a pilot. You are a makanga somewhere. You are driving a matatu, an old matatu. Yet you have gone through the school of pilot. There's somebody who stole the destiny.
How do they do that?
It is a spiritual implications that they do. For those people who know the principles of the kingdom of God, for those who know how to code information, those who know how to get into some people, into their stars, into their numerologies. They use the numerologies, they use the star, they use the elements, the element that's numerology, element that the sun, the moon, and all those kind of things. When those people who are capable to catch the numerology of something, like now the numerology means, as I told you, 1 plus numbers, 4, the numbers, it gives you 5. Now the understanding of the number 5 is grace. That is one way you can be able to capture somebody with.
And how rampant in mainstream society, in my day-to-day life, in your day-to-day life, how often do we meet people who are aware and practicing these things?
The people who are very much aware, it is the Catholics and the Freemasons and the witches. Those 3 categories are the people who are very much aware of what they're doing. They'll come. The witch will come in the night, and they look at this. Let me give an example of a school. Your son is so very bright in school, and he comes number 1. And then his son is one of the people who comes number last. What he will do? He will tell his son, go and steal the books of Eric's son, or the bag, or the pullover, or the jacket. Then they will go and take it to a witch. Then the witch will transform the knowledge from your son to that other son. And from then you find your son becomes anaanza kukua last, and the other son anaanza kukua number 1. Unaona kuna exchange. Yes. The exchange. There is a power behind it by understanding the principles, how the witches use the principles, and how the power, all this power, whether it is with a witch, whether it's so and so, it emanated from God. But now when Lucifer came, he came with the knowledge of heaven, but he used it. He corrupted it to use for his own benefit. We who are Christian failed to understand that this thing was corrupted. We need to get it back. And it was given to us in the book of Genesis, chapter number 1, verse number 26 and 27 and 28, and says, let us make man in our own image. And in the image of God, man and woman was created. Who was this with God? Who was this with God? Let us create a man and a woman in our image. Who was this with God?
Is that the council of elders, or
that's you need to understand? Then the very first, in the chapter number 1, very first verse, the Bible says, in the beginning, in the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. Where was he?
Well, actually, that's a good question. Where was he?
Where was he? In the beginning, God created the earth and the heavens. Where was he operating from? So you come to the verse number 26, say, let us create man in our own image. So he has a council.
Yes, I've heard about the council.
He has a council. And this council that knows what to do, when to do, how to do.
Are these beings? Are these
they
entities?
They are beings. They are seraphims and they are cherubims. These are more superior than angels, more powerful than angels. And the moment you are able to penetrate and get to them, that is when you get the information of heaven. Being a Christian does not qualify you to have the information of heaven. It's like now when you are police, there is coded messages. You see, A, they will call it alpha, B, they will call it something else, what they will call it something, and they will speak alpha code, and it's a name. They have written your name. You don't know they are spelling your name.
Yes.
But for you fool, you don't know. You just think they were saying alpha code or
you have to be a member.
You have to be a member to know. For us to know the information, the correct information of heaven, you have to be a member. Now Lucifer was able to tell his people that you have to be able to get inside, and that's now you have the Freemason. You get inside. You get you give all the sacrifices that you're supposed to give. Then you are given the codes to be able to unlock your wealth, to unlock your success, to unlock your potentials. And that's why you see they go for the brains. They don't just go for a personality. If you are a personality, a big personality, and the brains are weak, they don't go for you. They want to go for a lawyer. They want to go for an engineer. They want to go for somebody who Solomon used.
Yes.
Then they are given more codes to be able to access the wealth, to be able to access the greatness of the world, to be able to access the greatness of the world is not you being a Christian. It is you having the codes to be able to access. This is why now you find people like Catholics, they will say we have opened 5 portals. Now, what is a portal? Why would you open a door and then call it a portal?
Spiritual
They are
gates?
hidden secrets. And that's why you find this, they have acres and acres of books that are containing the secrets of the world, the secrets of the numerology, the secret of everything. And if you look at this one used to look at the newspapers, your star, Aries, Secretaries,
Oh, yes,
all those kind of
Scorpio.
things, Scorpion. If you look at ancient buildings of Europe, where we have churches, they have all those things around them, meaning there is an energy they were using,
Some astrology as well.
astrologies, to be able to godliness. Astrology is godly, is not demonic. But people who brought us the information in Africa, they taught us astrology is demonic and you should not follow it. Numerology is demonic. Everything is demonic. But if numerology was demonic, why would you have number 1? Why would you have number 10? Why would you have number 100? Why would you have January? Why would you have February? Why would you have a date?
It's part of
your life, part of your existence. And through the numbers, we get information. Like now, if I tell you number 5 is number of grace, number 7 is the number of completion. Why does it translate to completion? Number 7. What makes it translate into a completion? Number 5. What does it make it translate into a grace? Because there is a coded message, there is a coded information about the grace and the number 5.
Where can I, as a layman, get such information?
This information is hidden. Christianities, we are fools. We are always prophesying and rabakundering. We don't understand anything. We don't understand even Christianity. I can barely say to you, you are a Christian, Eric.
Yes.
But if I want to ask you, what is Christianity? You don't know. The people who knows Christianity, they were able to code it. This is the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church. And they took every information, and that's why the Bible was changed a little bit, so that the Bible for African can fit African, the Bible for them can fit them. Why will, for example, ask you a question, why will a Mzungu come to Africa, tells you that forget about the things of the world, which is very important, is the kingdom of heaven. Then he takes the entire land.
The things of the land.
The things of the world. What was the message? What was the story behind it? Because they told us that the Bible and heaven. They taught us about the Bible and going to heaven. We all looked at heaven, and then we decided to walk. We started to prophesy. We started to do things. We started to jump down. Poverty came.
And control and subjugation.
Then our land was taken away by the same person who told you, forget about the land, heaven is the key.
So what were Africans? Because I always ask, we had our own beliefs, we had our own faith. Different African communities had their own version of spirituality.
Yes. What happened is that Lucifer was not happy when Adam was created. And Adam was not created in Israel, was not created in Europe, he was not created in America. Adam was created in Africa. That is why the original name of Africa is Abel-Kalam. Alekabulam is Alekabulam is the original name of Africa. Alekabulam means the Garden of Eden. Okay? If you read the Bible, that the Garden of Eden was far east, was to the east of the world. Where is the east of the world?
Part of it would be East Africa.
East Africa. In the middle. The Garden of Eden was created in the middle of the world. Which country is in the middle of the world?
The equator passes through.
The equator passes through. So we say from Ethiopia, Sudan, going downward to South Africa, that was the Garden of Eden.
So why is Africa the most
So
ravaged?
what Lucifer did,
Yeah.
because when he found that man has been created to replace him, he found a way to deceive the man from the plan of God. So Lucifer, the Muzungus are the one that had the Luciferic kind of life, the Luciferic spirit. So the Luciferic spirit was sent to come and defile Africa for the benefits of the Luciferic agenda.
So that's why Africa seems
So,
to be ravaged with the most
look at here.
poverty.
We are the one, Europe, we don't have minerals. In UK, we don't have gold. We don't have, but if you want to get the largest quantities of gold, is where? Is
Africa.
in UK. No, UK are selling.
Oh, yes. In terms of
Selling.
refine and mine.
Refining and mining and everything is UK. It's in Europe, it's in America and all over. But the source of this which is making their countries become rich is from Africa.
They even say Congo is God's breadbasket.
Yeah, and Kenya is the child of God. And they use look at every place in Africa, we have the Bible, the Old Testament is Africa. But it was taken away. Then Akina Shakespeare were told to change it, to twist it, look like it is in Israel. If you go to Israel, we are talking about, you don't find the features that are in the Bible. You don't find them. But you come to Africa, like now I was in Kakuma. I know you have ever been to Kakuma. Or maybe to Lodwar Lokchang,
Yes,
to Juba.
Yes.
If you look at those mountains and look at it and study the history, you get us at Turkana there, the original Turkana will tell you, that is where Exodus began. From Kakuma, going to Lokchogio, to Juba, all that area, that is where the children of Israel moved around for 37 years. The mountains are still there. And the reason, until today, we have slaves in the form of refugees in Kakuma and in Dadaab, that area.
Yes.
That is where the area where the children of Israel moved for 37. And that became a portal. That is why until today, we have people who doesn't have a country, because people in Kakuma and the refugees, they don't have a country. They depend on UNHCR. They have licenses from the kitambulisho yao ni ya UNHCR.
Yes.
Meaning it was a portal that was never closed.
So they'll be lost forever.
They will be there forever.
In limbo.
They will be in limbo forever. They will suffer forever. And that place will never stop being a refugee camp. We have tried to close it. Kenya tried to close it. The whole world came and said, no, because the whole world protected it because it is a portal of slavery.
And UN is known to have satanic...
Yes, therefore it is a satanic, UN being the Luciferic agenda. UN, the World Bank, the IMF, all those bodies, international bodies, they have a Luciferic and a plan of a Luciferic agenda. So they will not allow something like Kakuma to come and end. Just imagine this. A person comes from DRC is taken to Kakuma. Rwanda.
Kakuma.
Burundi. You see, there are people from South Africa who are in Kakuma. There are people from Congo, the other Congo. There are people from Mozambique. There are people from, I found people from Mali. I found people from Libya. They are in Kakuma. Why will Africa be brought together into one place and then be subjected into dehumanized kind of life?
It's quite a terrible...
Because it is a portal, a spiritual portal that needs to be cancelled for these people to be free. Because that is where the journey of the Exodus began. That's where Moses was moving around. Therefore, I'm trying to bring closer to you to understand why Mount Kenya is so important to the world.
Yes.
Because this is where they drive. This is where the mountain that has the energy that it drives the whole world. But Vatican also is another bigger portal that also tries to outwit the Mount Kenya portal. That is why a person like Pope had to come to Mount Kenya to get the power. Elizabeth has to be. Nature brought her to Africa, to Kenya. Because they had Uganda, they could have gone to Uganda, they could have gone to Tanzania, they could have gone to another country. But Elizabeth had to be brought to Africa, Kenya in particular, for him to tap the energy that will allow her to go and make the kingdom grow.
Recently, the Finnish, is it president or prime minister? I'm not sure whether they call him president or prime. He was here and he said...
Is the prime minister or the king?
The guy from Finland.
It was a king.
It was it a king?
The one who stopped to come, we stopped him to come and then he came later.
No, that was Dutch.
Dutch.
Recently, the president of Finland came,
okay.
And he was saying how Kenya is so important in terms of the New World Order. And he was adamant. He kept repeating it.
Yes. That's why they took Ruto to New York. Because Ruto was to be part of the New World Order to facilitate. Because Kenya is the portal. It's only Kenya. If Kenya disallows these people to operate, that's the end of the New World Order.
And he gave he was given, this is before Trump, he was given a state welcome.
Which has never been given to anybody else. Then he was taken to the, this whole thing, obelisk.
Yes.
The obelisk in State House. That's why he was sat, because the obelisk is a sign of a high energy in the spheric agenda. That's where he sat. That is why he was inaugurated. Unfortunately, when he came back, it didn't work. Obama was made the American president just because of Kenya being the portal, so that he can take that energy, make it in America, so America can become the portal to use to bring the one world order. It didn't work. They tried to bring the gay and all those kind of things to defile now the land. It didn't work. It has refused to work. They now have sent Matiang'i to come and become the president, so that they can use him for the transformation of the spheric agenda. But still, it's not going to work.
So let me ask. I want to bring it closer to our political sphere, because right now, as we speak today, there's a lot of confusion, chaos. On one hand, we have one guy must go. Then we have another one who was kicked out, saying this one is so bad, yet they are the same.
Yes.
Then we have Matiang'i, like you're saying, who looks like a project of Kina Uhuru.
It's a project from New York.
So what is all this?
He had to be taken to New York for briefing, be trained, so that when he comes to do the job that he wanted them to do, because they want to be very sure that this is our person, because they thought Ruto would be able to make it. But the thing that didn't work for them is because who are the custodians of the Mount Kenya? That's a very important...
The tribe, you mean?
The tribe. That's a very important thing when you're looking at the portal. For you to be able to control a portal, you must control the people who are the custodians, because these are the gatekeepers.
So are you saying that Mulima term has a lot more meaning than...
It is not just another thing. The Mulima term, it is Bora Usiguze Mulima.
So that is a spiritual thing.
For Gachagua thinks that he was protecting a kingdom, a territory of his own. He doesn't know that. In the spiritual concept, Mulima, it is the torch, the pillar that controls the world in the spiritual realm, that determines and makes things work, that determines who to become and who not to become, destroys other kingdom and makes other kingdom. So Mulima term, it is in the spiritual, in the political, yes, it is according to Gachagua Boros Guse. He was preferring protecting the Kikuyu.
Is he aware of the bigger connotation?
He is aware from a political angle. But from the spiritual angle of those people who have been called in the spiritual world, the people who we call the high priests, the high priests are the only that has the information. And in Kenya, we have about 2 or 3 or 5, not more than 10 high priests.
Are they known?
Yes, they are known. Some of them are known, some of them are not known. Some of them are just small people, but you can ignore them for not understanding or seeing the spiritual impact they have in this world. So the high priest is the only people that has a more revelation about Mount Kenya, the Mulima. Mulima is the peak. Mulima is the energy. Mulima is the foundation of the world. That is why the whole world is watching over Mulima. The whole world is watching over the politics of Kenya. This is the fight. You see now they are trying to fight Gachagua. Is a person they're trying to fight center-left, but they are not going to be able to fight him because he is hiding himself behind the Mulima, the portal. And he has been visiting the Mulima.
I would want to imagine if what you say is fact, that someone at the level of Gachagua, for example, would also be aware. that there's a deeper connotation. Of course, he presents it politically, but if there's a real...
He did some sacrifices in the mountain. Remember, let me give you a good example what happened. There are these pastors who used to go to State House.
Yes.
The prayer intercessors. At one point, a Mzungu from America came and told them, for you to be able to dethrone these people, the Kikuyus, from any position, you must be able to go and dethrone the altar at Mount Kenya. That's a Mzungu who came and told them. And he told them where it is, which was true. He told me where the altar, because there are two entries. When you are getting to the Mount Kenya, there are two entries that the Mau Mau used when this altar was being raised. Now the Mzungu took them through the line of Nanyuki. And the thing they did that really was unfortunate and cost them dearly, they agreed, we are going to go to the mountain, but we are not going to go with the Kikuyus, because Kikuyus will not agree to go and destroy the gods of the mountain. Because the Musungu told them there is a god in the mountain who is very powerful, who is making Kenya not to be penetratable. It was battle the Luciferic agenda to come and find people in Kenya to go and destroy that altar so that they may be able to penetrate. But now they told all the Archbishop Harrison Nganga, they were not given the information. They were not told what's happening. So these other pastors from the Luo land, the Kalenjin land, from the Kamba land, they went to the Mount Kenya. And when they went, they were taken through the Nanyuki side. They got into the mountain. And once they were there, a cloud came down and covered them. For them, they thought they have penetrated. The cloud has answered. The cloud of Moses has come.
Yes.
Little did they know that that was the end of whatever they were doing. Because the cloud, that cloud that came down, was not coming down to tell them you have succeeded. The cloud was monitoring, came to see who one of you belongs to this mountain. You can never win a battle of a territorial authority if you don't have one of itself.
Yes. So they didn't have anyone.
They didn't have anyone. They were foreigners in that territory. So when they prayed and they came back, the crowd just came and went. They thought they have won. When they came back on a Saturday. That evening Saturday, they were planning to come. They were with GK cars. It's Ruto who had given them, through Rachel, the cars to go with. When they came back, do you know what? While they were in Thika, as they were crossing from Mount Kenya, the crossing at the boundary of Mount Kenya to Nairobi, Ruto destroyed the prayer people, all of them. They said he has cancelled it. He sacked everybody. And from then, they have never stepped in State House.
So how did he know what transpired?
No, the gods, whatever the system there in the portal, because the portal realized these people were sent to come and destroy, the portal destroyed them before they would plan another agenda. That is how bad the portal becomes. When you see a portal in your family, like now when you have a black spot somewhere where we have accidents, it is a portal that asks for blood.
Yes.
So it will ask for blood during the time when the blood is necessarily needed. The car will be moving until Saturday because it is Saturday
that is needed.
That Saturday you will drive your car. No lorry coming, no nothing coming, and then you roll. The entire matatu rolls because that is a portal. A portal is something that is spiritual, where spiritual powers and connotations are exchanged and spiritual sacrifices are given.
But let me ask, what about, because you described on the one side there is the mountain, there is these other people trying to take this power from this said mountain. Mm-hmm. Where do the people fall? Because right now politically, there's three forces, and then there's a fourth force, which is the real force. So the three forces are the current president. Second force is Matiang'i, for example. Third force is now this Gen Z who are calling themselves the new force that look a bit controlled. Then the real force is people who want actual change and actual a whole new system.
As of now, God is driving the car. It's not being driven by anybody. All these other forces you have mentioned, they are not existing. God is using a particular car. Like now, he wants to drive towards the mountain, he will go for a 4-wheel drive. He wants to drive to Quatamak, he will go for a Mercedes-Benz. If you see the kind of revolutionary Kenya is bringing about East Africa or the world, you can see that the vehicle that God is using are different vehicles. Like now, what happened in Tanzania when Kina Mother Karua went there, that's one of the one of the vehicle that God is using, because God is trying to cleanse East Africa in readiness for the kingdom of God. And also, if we look at in Uganda, it is voters who cross the border to go and push for an agenda.
Yes.
You look in Kenya, it's the young people who are not coordinated, but God coordinated them and brought them together. When they tried to extend the mandate, the killing started. They were, another force came to kill them, to stop them, because your work has come to an end. Now go and rest. God is doing bit by bit from different quarters. I was in Britain, and as I told you, I went to destroy the altars of the Freemason from the originality. Then I went to the palace. I did the same. And I went to a place called Stonehenge. I went and did the same. I didn't know what I was going to do there. As I got to Europe, I thought I was going for my holiday, only to be told by God there, this is what you came to do here. So God used me in that line. God will use you in another line. God will use you in your media station. God will use Mother Karua to go to Tanzania. God will use somebody to go and see everything that we are doing is impacting the entire Africa. So that is when you see the hand of God. That is now the army of God. The army of God is not Akina Gachagua, it's not Akina Matiang'i, it's not Akina Ruto. All this will be rounded and removed. That you see now, they are planning not to have an election. It is not them who are planning not to have an election. It is God that has brought to an end the time of elections in Kenya.
Please elaborate on that. Because when you say they are planning not to have an election, you
Ruto,
worry the people.
According to Ruto, he doesn't have an agenda. According to Ruto, he doesn't have an agenda of going for an election. He doesn't. Akina Gachagua planning, and Matiang'i is planning for the elections. But Ruto is not planning for the election, and that is why he caused a huge delay in nominating the IBC. So look at it now. According to legal report, an IBC must be in position 2 years before the election. We are in 2025, the month of May. We are supposed to have an election in 2026, not 2027, August.
Yes, I've been seeing Willis Otieno and Jimmy Wanjigi.
Yeah, that is it. That is according to how it is supposed to be done. According to law and according to the countings, it is 2026 that we are supposed in the month, the first Tuesday of the month of August. Now, count from now, we are May. And May next year, that is 1 year. Then we will have 3 months to August. That is 1 year and 3 months.
Yes.
According to Kiligida report, anybody that is supposed to conduct an election must have 2 years to prepare for the elections. Meaning they have not even settled. They have not even made tenders. Anything has not been done, meaning there will be no election in the month of August.
How will they convince the people?
You don't need to convince the people. You need to go by the law. You only need to go by the law.
But that can cause an uprising.
That was the law. That's what the law. The law says there can't be an election before 2 years prior when we have a body to conduct it. That's number one. Number two, the current body, as it is, cannot conduct an election unless it has done boundary reviews. We don't have the time for the boundary review. So anybody will go to court and tell this commission there is no election until you do, because that is law.
Isn't this a recipe for chaos?
It is a recipe for chaos because God wants to bring this country into order.
And is order going to come through chaos?
Mostly wherever I've seen in the world, even in the Bible. I'm not advocating for chaos, but if you look at the Moses time, Joshua time, everything, something unusual happens for order to come.
So where does that leave Raya, the people, we the people? Because that's a very, we all have our daily
If
lives,
you look at,
our dreams, our
if you look
aspirations.
at what is happening to Traore, the president of
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso, there was some chaos that were there, but now the order came and the guy is really moving well. If we are not cheated on through this social media thing, the guy is really moving and is really impacting the entire Africa. You see, that's another army of God that is operating from the other side, coinciding with Kenya. So what will happen, there will be a little bit disorganization in Kenya, which is coming very soon, and which is about to happen anytime. A lot of disorganization will be in Kenya, but God is in control. Mwananchi will be safe.
And by disorganization, you mean also an absence from our normal daily lives?
Yeah. At least we'll be having some political upheavals and economically we will have some challenges, and politically we have some challenges, and at some point our brothers in the army might be able to intervene to have control.
You say that very calmly. You're not worried?
Yes, I'm not worried because I know what's going to happen. Normally what I tell you happens. And what I tell the other channels where I go, it has to happen. I told some people some time back that Laila will not become the
president,
the AU chairman.
Oh, yes.
And I told them that the guy from Djibouti will take over. And then the guy who was interviewing me asked me, but there's no guy from Djibouti. I told him, no, go wait. I'm telling you, just go wait. I didn't tell you to believe me. Just go and wait, see what will happen. Much later, a guy from Djibouti comes and takes over. The same thing. If you look at a person like Raila, Uhuru, those are the one world order people. For them, they want to achieve, which they discovered it cannot be achieved through Ruto. Why not through Ruto? There are two things that happens. In the kingdom, God looks at the tribe. Like now, the tribe of Dan was not counted as part of the 12 tribes. When you talk about the 144,000
Yes.
people that were to get into the kingdom,
Yes.
the tribe of Dan is out. The tribe of Judah is in, Naphtali is in, all these other 12 tribes are in, but the tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan are the people that comes from the people who ruled, who controlled the Israelis, the people from Sudan. That's the tribe of Dan. This tribe of Dan was cast, and they were like put aside from the actual tribes that God decided to use. It's like when we talk about Jacob and Esau. It is Jacob who was supposed to be blessed. But Jacob, due to his greedy nature and his name, Swindler, he went to buy a birthright from a person who was already cast.
Yes.
So he bought a curse. And when he bought a curse, he went with it to his uncle. He worked for the girl, the daughter of his uncle, for 7 years because he wanted to marry her. But imagine 7 years in a company and you don't understand the rules of the company. It's unfortunate.
Yes.
It means there is something wrong in your head. Because he worked for 7 years, nobody was there to tell him that before this one goes, this one must go. So work out for this one to go fast so that you can take this one. At the 7th year, that's when he's told, you know what? Yes, you have worked.
There's nothing for you.
And we appreciate your good work, but there is nothing for you. Just imagine being in a place for 7 years, not even 7 years, 1 year. You'll be knowing everything,
Yes.
and you'll be knowing the rules there and everything that is working there. But because he bought a birthright of a cast person, of a rejected person, so he was blindfolded. So a veil came upon him, and he became Esau. When he was working like a Jacob. But the day of going to eat, he turns out to become Esau. Because Esau was cast that he was a hand-to-mouth person, a gatherer. and hunter and a gatherer. A hunter and a gatherer is a hand-to-mouth person. So what happened to Jacob? Because of buying the birthright, he became a hunter and a gatherer. He looked for the animal, and the day where he now finds it, this is the animal runs and leaves him alone. He goes back empty. That's what happened to him for 7 years. And another 7 years. He worked for 14 years. And after he worked for 14 years, he was told you have to take both. But again, Laban told him, you have to stay here for another 7 years. So he worked for 21 good years for the first lady.
Are you conjoining that with Ruto's journey so far?
What will happen to Ruto is that this thing you hear one term, it's one term because there will be no second term.
Wow, that's a scary prospect. You know,
nobody will win him, nobody will defeat him, but there will be no second term because there will be no elections.
You know, my producer and I are young. We're just trying to have families. We're just starting life, but
yeah, life will be started. Jomo Kenyatta started life, but he went to Kapenguri. I was there, I visited the place, and I will be going there very soon again because there's something I want to do there. There's hidden secrets in those mountains. But the people who went to Canaan are not the fathers, but the children. So don't be worried.
Don't be worried. I have one last question I want to touch on something before, although this is more in the West. Recently, we saw this whole thing for like Trump having a tiff with Israel, and then he did the tour of the Middle East, and they received him with so much pomp and so much, of course, there are so many deals that were cut. What happened there? Is that pure business?
No, Trump is purely businessman. And spiritually, he's also being used by God because he's a tool that will be used to bring stability. You look at the time that when Zelensky,
yes.
Zelensky went to America. He was invited to America to go and concede and have peace with Russia. For him, he wants peace because if you go to Europe, life is really, really unbearable because of Russia. When Russia closed their borders, people thought Russia is a weak country, but Russia runs the world. They control everything. They have their own oil, they have their own food, they have everything. And they have their largest market, that is China, with them. And they also the Arabian countries, they are there. So not unless now Trump goes to work with the Asian countries to stop them from supporting Russia, Russia cannot be defeated. You just be closing your border and you're suffering. I went to Russia the time I was
with you. I remember.
And I had $10,000 with me. But when I reached in Russia, they became papers. I was never able to use them. They were just mere papers.
Could not convert?
They cannot convert, and nobody will ever look at you. Nobody will ever want to see you. My card didn't work. I had to call back home to pay for my hotel, to pay for my food. So I was restricted in my hotel. That's why you took my breakfast, took my lunch, took my supper, until the days I stayed there.
So it's not like the rest of the world where dollars can be used transactionally?
No. Google cannot work in Russia. When you are in the plane, nowadays we have
Starlink.
The Starlink. There it doesn't work. You have to get out of the territory of Russia for it to work. So that's another people. They control their own world.
They have their own ecosystem.
The gas that is being used in Europe is coming from them. So not unless they sell it to China, China will sell now to Muzungus. So they are making UK life so unbearable in Germany. Everything, the economies in UK, in Germany are collapsing.
Yeah, people are really
they are really complaining. There's no money.
Did you see immigrants? Was that a problem also in the UK when you went this time? They said there's been so many immigrants and they are affecting the social, the cultural.
What happens is that the Muzungu, the Britons, have been overpowered because they are not working. Their middle class is not working. Their lower class is not. Their young people are not working. They are lost. They're in another world. So the foreigners have come in, the Kenyans, the Africans, the Asian, the people from Europe, other European countries. They have come and taken over. If you go to a place like Birmingham, it is an Indian state controlled. all the medician, the medical doctors, the nurses. The nurses are from Kenya. The medical doctors, all doctors are from India. They have taken over. The economy in UK is taken over. They are no longer in control.
It's a reverse colonization.
Yeah. They are no longer in control. That's why now they're trying to chase people out of and if they try to chase, it's that the economy will sink further because nobody will work. They don't have workers. That is why they are now scaling down to get skilled workers, people who have knowledge, so that they can use those brains to build their country. Like America is doing so Australia is doing so, Canada is doing so. They are trying to drain the trained workers, skilled personnel from Africa to their countries. That's when they can give you a green card, they can give you anything that you want because they don't have people to work for them.
Yes.
And they're trying to get that Solomonic kind of thing I was telling you. They're trying to get the brains so that they build their nations.
Now, last but not least, I'd like you to look in this camera and tell my audience something inspiring, encouraging about the future, because we've covered a very, some of these spiritual things have very scary connotations. So maybe just a message of hope or something.
What I want to tell you that life is spiritual, and Kenya being the portal, we must start now behaving like the owners of the world, the controllers of the world, the people who control the spiritual realm. The entire world depends on Kenya. They believe in Kenya, and they know it's only Kenya who can save the world. And the Luciferic agenda, they are all planning and they're doing everything possible to bring Kenya down so that they can rule it and they can dissect the portal Kenya for their use and for their benefits. What I want to assure you that Kenya is in control. Don't be worried that somebody will cause chaos, something will happen somewhere. Kenya is completely in control, in the hands of God. And don't ever imagine that it is the Christians who are going to bring the revival, because people talk about the revival. It's not only Christians who are going to bring the revival. Kenyans. You see the politicians, they are making noises and things are moving all over the world. You see the agencies, what they are doing. You see also the people in the church, the people in the Muslim fraternity, and all other society is doing, because God is using people of Kenya to bring a change in the world. Peace will come. Peace will be all over the world. Peace will be with you, but not with a price. A price has to be paid, unfortunately.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Every other time with Eric, Apostle Ndura Waruinge. What a pleasure it was.
Thank you.
I look forward to having many and many more engagements.
Sure.
It's been such an interesting time. I've really enjoyed.
I've also enjoyed being with you, and it's my prayer that we reach more people and people get to understand. And also, I'll ask your people that when you listen to a conversation, don't always be negative. Listen to it. If there's something you can add, just add positively. And if something that you can be able to, if I've given a statement that is not right and you feel sure it's not right, correct me in a good way. Because we are in the process of learning. Maybe the information where I got it is not where you got your information. Because your teacher was Onyango, my teacher was Kipchumba. We have different teachers and different understanding. So let us be positive always to build our nation. And let us love one another. Kenya is a one nation. We are all brothers. There is no Kikuyu. There is no Luya. Because I was trying to look at the blood of a Kikuyu. I found it was red. A blood of a Luya was also red.
Every other time with Eric, Apostle Ndura, it's a wrap. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Cheers.
You.